Imagine standing in a crowded room. A woman's gaze lingers on you. She studies you, not because of how you look, but because of something deeper, something rare. You open your mouth and say just one sentence, and suddenly she's drawn in. Not just curious, not just intrigued, but captivated. Why? Because what you just said defies every expectation. It is the sentence of a man who cannot be shaken, a man who walks through the storm untouched by chaos, a man who understands the secret Stoics knew for centuries. But before I reveal this powerful phrase, you must understand why it works. Because words alone mean nothing if the man speaking them lacks the essence behind them, and that essence is mastery over oneself. I desire nothing, yet I appreciate everything. This is the sentence that shifts the balance of power. It is the essence of a man who cannot be controlled, a man who does not chase, but is instead pursued. Why? Because this mindset disrupts the game entirely. Most men beg for attention. They seek validation. They craft words like weapons, hoping to win a woman's affection. But in doing so, they expose a weakness, neediness, and nothing is less attractive than a man who needs. Now consider the Stoic man. He does not beg. He does not chase. He exists in a state of self-contentment. Whether love comes or goes, whether admiration is given or withheld, he remains unmoved. This is the man who becomes a magnet. Women are drawn to power, not the power of force, but the power of control. Control over emotions, control over desires. The man who is unaffected by loss, who remains steady in the face of rejection, signals something rare. Strength. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome. He had power beyond measure, yet he lived simply. He ruled over nations, yet he was a servant to wisdom. He needed nothing from others, and for that reason, he commanded the respect of all. Women sense this strength instinctively. When you embody it, when you utter the words, "I desire nothing, yet I appreciate everything." You do not just say it, you become it. It is not a line, it is a truth. A man like this is not swayed by beauty. He does not crumble under pressure. He does not speak to impress, but to express. And that makes him dangerous. Not in the way of harm, but in the way of mystery. Because a man who does not chase cannot be caught. This is where true attraction is forged. Not in words, not in tricks, but in a state of mind that is rare, almost extinct in today's world. Imagine two men in a conversation with a woman. The first is eager, his words laced with the subtle desperation of someone who seeks approval. He leans in too much, laughs too easily, agrees too quickly. She senses it, the silent plea beneath his words. He wants something from her. Now the second man, the Stoic. He is present but not desperate. He listens, but he is not waiting for validation. His energy is steady, unshaken. His eyes say, "I see you, but I do not need you." And that changes everything. Why? Because humans, by nature, are drawn to what they cannot fully have. We do not chase that which is already ours. We chase what eludes us. The Stoic man, by mastering himself, becomes that mystery. He does not bend for attention, and so attention bends toward him. Take Epictetus, for example. Born a slave, yet he walked as if he were free long before he ever was. He understood one thing: control over oneself is the only true power. No one could shake his mind, and therefore no one could rule him. This is why the words, "I desire nothing, yet I appreciate everything," are so powerful. They communicate that you are whole, that you do not seek love, you embody it, that you do not fear loss, you understand it is part of life. And that presence, that stability, is rare. Most men think attraction is about doing more, saying the right things, making the right moves. But the truth? It's about needing less. Because the moment a woman realizes you are not seeking anything from her is the moment she starts seeking you. This is where most men fail. They believe attraction is about effort, impressing, proving, chasing. But true allure lies in restraint, in saying less, in doing less, in being more. A man who speaks with calculated intent commands attention. He does not blurt out compliments. He does not over-explain. He does not fill silences with nervous chatter. Instead, he embraces the stillness, the mystery, the weight of his presence. Why does this work? Because the unknown is powerful. When a woman cannot fully read you, she is drawn in. She seeks to understand. She leans in closer, not because you pulled her in, but because she wants to. Think of Seneca, the Stoic philosopher and statesman. He advised emperors, yet remained distant from their corruption. He walked among power, yet was never consumed by it. He mastered the art of appearing both present and untouchable, and people were drawn to him for it. The modern Stoic man carries the same energy. He does not shower a woman with empty words. Instead, he makes her wonder, why is he so composed? Why doesn't he seek my validation? What does he know that others don't? And that curiosity turns into attraction. The moment you become an open book, the mystery dies, and with it, the intrigue. So when you say, I desire nothing, yet I appreciate everything, you communicate more than words. You show that you are already full, that you do not need to take. You are simply here to be. And nothing is more irresistible than a man who stands firm in who he is. Now this is where most men get it wrong. They think attraction is about pushing outward, displaying confidence, showcasing achievements, trying to prove value. But true magnetism comes from pulling inward, from being so present, so self-contained, that your mere existence commands attention. This is the power of presence. A woman may forget your words, but she will never forget how she felt in your presence. And the Stoic man knows this. He does not perform. He simply is. He does not overthink his next move. He trusts that his presence alone carries weight. Picture this. You walk into a room. You do not rush to speak. You do not scan for validation. Instead, you settle into yourself. You breathe deeply, taking in the space as if you own it, not through arrogance, but through certainty. You meet her gaze, not as a man seeking approval, but as an equal, a force unto yourself. And in that moment, she feels something rare, a man who is complete, with or without her interest. Why is this so powerful? Because most men are afraid of silence. They fear the weight of stillness. They try to fill it with jokes, with compliments, with unnecessary words. But the Stoic embraces the silence. He lets it stretch. He makes her sit in it, feel it, become curious about it. This is what creates tension. And tension, my friend, is what makes attraction electric. Consider the great warrior king Marcus Aurelius. He never needed to raise his voice to command an army. His presence alone carried the weight of his authority. His calmness amidst chaos made him someone others leaned toward. Women, like all humans, are drawn to stability, to a man whose emotions are not scattered, whose energy does not fluctuate with external circumstances, to a man who, simply by existing, creates a space of certainty around him. And when you embody this, when you look at her with the quiet confidence of a man who needs nothing, she will feel it, and she will never forget it, because the man who needs nothing gains everything. But here's the question you must ask yourself. Do you control your desires, or do they control you? Most men never stop to consider this. They believe attraction is about effort, about chasing, impressing, and convincing. They put women on pedestals, believing that if they just say the right thing, act the right way, or show enough status, they will be rewarded with affection. But in reality, the more you chase something, the further it moves away. This is a fundamental truth of human nature. We are drawn to what is scarce, to what feels just out of reach. And the man who operates from need, who seeks validation, affection, or approval, is immediately exposed as weak. The Stoic man, however, is different. He understands that desire itself is not the problem. It is attachment to desire that weakens a man. He does not suppress attraction or pretend he doesn't feel it. Instead, he acknowledges it, but remains in control. He does not chase after what he wants. Instead, he lets what is meant for him come naturally. And this is where most men fail the final test. Women instinctively test for this strength. They don't do it maliciously. It is simply their nature. They will observe how you react under pressure. They will pull away to see if you chase. They will challenge you, not because they want to break you, but because they need to know if you are truly solid. What happens when she takes longer to reply? Do you panic? What happens when she seems interested one moment and distant the next? Do you crumble? What happens when she disagrees with you? Do you change your stance just to please her? Most men fail these tests. They become reactive, needy, or insecure. They reveal that their sense of self depends on external validation, and the moment a woman senses this, the attraction is lost. But the man who is truly free, free from emotional turbulence, free from attachment, free from seeking, is the man who is most desired. Why? Because such a man is rare. He does not break under pressure. He does not beg for attention. He does not let fleeting emotions dictate his value. This is the man who can say, "I desire nothing, yet I appreciate everything," and mean it. This is not a trick. It is not a line to manipulate others. It is a way of life, a way of standing firm, no matter who enters or exits your world. Women sense this at a level deeper than words. They feel it in your energy. They see it in your eyes. They recognize that you are different, and that is when they begin to chase you, not because you tricked them, but because they recognize they have encountered something truly rare. A man who needs nothing, yet has everything. And that is when they begin to chase you. But here's the truth that few understand. It was never about them in the first place. The purpose of Stoicism is not to get women. It is to master yourself, to build an inner world so strong that nothing external can shake it. A truly powerful man does not live his life based on the reactions of others. He does not seek validation. He does not need constant reassurance. He is whole, whether he is surrounded by admirers or standing in absolute solitude. This is the paradox. The moment you no longer need attention, it comes effortlessly. The moment you stop chasing, you become the one who is pursued. The moment you free yourself from desire, the world bends in your favor. Because people, women, men, everyone, are drawn to those who possess what they cannot control. And nothing is more uncontrollable than a man who is at peace within himself. Think of Marcus Aurelius. He ruled the greatest empire in the world, yet he was indifferent to power. He loved his family, Yet he accepted that loss was inevitable. He lived among temptation, yet he was not swayed by it. And that is why he was so respected. Think of Seneca, who walked among the wealthiest and most powerful men in Rome, yet remained detached from greed. He knew that true power was not in riches or status. It was in self-control. Now think of yourself. Are you in control? Or do you still seek something outside yourself to feel whole? Do you still crave attention? Do you still feel the need to prove your worth? Do you still react to rejection as if it defines you? Or have you learned the ultimate lesson, that true power comes from within, that you were never meant to chase, that the only thing you were ever meant to master was yourself? Because the man who masters himself becomes the master of every room he walks into. He is not cold, he is not distant, he is not arrogant, he is simply complete. And that is the rarest thing in the world. Women notice, men respect it, the world responds to it. And so, the Stoic man walks alone, yet he is never lonely, because the man who needs nothing gains everything.